So today I want to talk to you guys about math centers. In my math centers, I do them daily. So let's get started. Welcome. It is 8 o'clock. I am Sarah from Simply STEAM, and thank you guys so much for joining me today. Before we get started, I have a little question for you, and I want to know, how often do you play math games during your math block? Last week I came on here, I talked for 30 minutes, and I couldn't believe I talked that long, about the structure of my math block. So if you are interested in learning about the structure of my math block, I invite you to go check out my video that I created last week. So today I want to talk to you guys about math centers. So if you have questions about how I run my math centers, be sure to pop a question in the comments. I can actually see them today. So let's get started. In my math centers, I do them daily, and my math centers last for 15 to 20 minutes. And that all depends on how well my kids are behaving, how much time I have in the classroom, etc., etc. So 15 to 20 minutes. Now this is for second grade. Now for kindergarten, I aim for 10 to 15 minutes. I'm about the same. We're aiming for 15 minutes in first grade. When I do my math centers, I have 3 centers. The first one is Math with a Partner, and that's what we're going to talk about tonight. We have our Writing About Math, that is a center, and then I have my small groups with me for math. Tonight we're going to focus on Math with a Partner, and this is really cool. So what I do before we start our math centers is on my whiteboard. I'm not sure if I have a picture of it or not, but I'll try and find a picture of it and post it on here. I have taped my whiteboard so that there are 4 different categories, or 4 different rows. There's 2 columns. One column has a category label, and the rest of the column is for the students to place their magnet. And students have a magnet with a number on it. And I call out their number, they get their magnet, and they choose which round they want to go in. Now, for the small group, I am like Vanna White, and I choose the group that I want. So they don't get a choice, but it's cool because the way that I've made the culture in our classroom, the kids are like, oh, yay, we get to go play with Miss Barnett. So instead of saying, oh, I don't get to choose, So it's really a good thing, okay? But for everybody else, they get to choose which round, as I like to call it, or center they want to go into, okay? So sometimes if they're not working well together, or like there's conflict in the classroom and I'm like kind of disciplining them, I will pick their partner for them using Class Dojo. This way, they know like it's kind of taken away their freedom or their liberty to choose their own partner. And so they kind of take a step back and straighten it up, and they can choose the next time. So it takes about 3 to 4 weeks for second graders to learn the routines for our math centers. For first grade, it takes about 4 to 5 weeks, and obviously for kindergarten, it's going to take about 6 weeks for them to know the rules, routines, procedures for these math centers. The rules, routines, and procedures, I'm going to explain that to you. So what I do is, as soon as they choose their round, right after everyone's finished choosing, I say, if you are in Math with a Partner, I would like you to quietly get your belongings and go to your round with your partner. And they do that, and if they're not quiet, then they go back to their seats, and I'll choose the other people to go. And I go with each center, so the kids go on their own, okay? So we set that straight. I set the bar high and make sure that that is drilled in their heads, that they have got to do it quickly, calmly, and quietly. Then when they get into their rounds, each group knows what they will be doing. For math with a partner, they are going to be playing partner games. Here is why. I'm going to give you 7 reasons why we play math games and why your students should play math games too. So, when I look at research from Marzano and Hattie from the What Works in Schools, their first high yield strategy is that students identify similarities and differences in math topics with math chats. Yes, in kindergarten, first, and second grade, they are going to identify similarities and differences with math strategies. They do this by solving a problem and explaining how they solve that problem, but perhaps their partner solved it a different way. They are comparing similarities and differences. The second reason why we play math games is because it reinforces effort. Okay, so my son, who is in kindergarten, today I said, Logan, we're gonna do some math today. And school has been at home, so he's like, school, I don't wanna do it at home. And I said, come on, bud, it's gonna be a game. And as soon as he heard that word and he said game, he knew, and automatically he wanted his effort to be reinforced by beating me. That's all he wanted to do. He wanted to beat me. So I let him play the game. I let him win. He got some answers wrong, but he still got to win, and it was awesome. The third reason why we play math games is because it supports learning with practice. You can even use these games to send home for homework. I let my students check out, I'm going to show you these kits here in just a minute. I let my students check out these kits and they take them home to play with their family, and then they bring them back the next day. The fourth reason why we do this is because it's cooperative learning, okay? Research shows that ongoing cooperative student learning groups, it yields a positive classroom environment and a positive effect on their learning. The fifth reason why we play math games is because self-checking provides immediate feedback. And so I'm sure you're wondering, well, what if the kids cheat? Who cares? They are in a math round and they are looking at the card, they are trying to problem solve, and sometimes they might need a little hint, but I guarantee you that when that student cheats and they see the answer on the back of that, they're going to ask themselves, well, how did they get this answer? And they're going to try to figure out how to solve it after they see the answer. So what if they cheat? Who cares? That's my philosophy. The sixth reason we play is because the objectives are clearly stated on the cases. Okay, here's where I'm going to show you what these look like. So I have all my games stored in here, and what I do is I get a grade on and a grade below. I do not ever give my students a grade above for math games, only on or below. And the reason why I do that is because it's about depth, not breadth. So I challenge my students who understand it in different ways versus the game. Okay, and I'll explain that when we get into math writing. So the objectives are clearly stated on these cases. So I am going to show you the kindergarten case. So here on the kindergarten case, or the kindergarten kit, students will open it up, and this one is for teen numbers. So they open it up, and already on the case there are examples of teen numbers. The objective states right here, students can write numbers 1 through 20, represent numbers with a numeral, count to answer how many, compose and decompose numbers 1 through 19. So even though your kindergartners may not be able to read this, you can communicate these objectives to them, and they know that that's what they're working towards with these cards. They also have an example, a great visual right here for them to see it. And then they use these cards and they talk about it with a partner. If they don't get it right, their partner can explain to them why. And I'm telling you, if you add the math games to your block, it just makes magic. The last and final 7th reason why we play math games is because they are so much fun. The kids think that it's a game, so it's like not high stress. It is a low risk activity. So the kids do it thinking that even if they try it and fail, it'll be okay, because it's just a game. It's not a grade. So it's just fun, and that's where the growth mindset comes into play. So there are 4 ways that we play these games, but for math, for the Math Center, specifically for Math with a Partner, I only use the game boards. And the reason why is because that is the easiest one to play with. The kids know those rules, routines, and procedures. And so I try not to mix it up. I save the other 3 ways to play these games in my small group, and it works. Okay, the other ways to play it, one is for pick up sticks, and that's where students spill the sticks everywhere, and then if they get the answer correct, then they get to pick up a stick, but they cannot disturb the pile. It's kind of like Jenga, and you probably could play with Jenga. Race to 20 so this is Race to 20, and what they do is if they get a card correct, on the back of the card, it'll say 2 or 3 or whatever, and whatever quantity it says, students will mark those. And so in my small group, I use these little dabbers. So if they get it correct, they get like 3 or whatever, they just dab, dab, dab. And then it looks like that. And then right here, they can write 3 plus, and then they get to go all the way up to 20. And whoever gets to 20 first wins. That's a really fun small group game. And the 4th way to play is called STEM to Win. And that's a game that I made up because I wanted to integrate STEM activities with my math games. So what students do is anytime they earn a quantity of whatever, they pick up those Legos or toothpicks. If you have toothpicks and Play-Doh, you can do it with that too. But they can get Legos, and then once the game is over and you guys have answered all the cards, then you can you give them a challenge, and they have to create something based on the amount and the type of Legos or toothpicks, whatever that they collected. And then you kind of get to see them be creative. And that one to me is really neat, doing it in small groups, because normally, you know, when you've got kids who are not performing on the level which you need them to be, they usually are more creative. And so giving them a reward of being creative, you know, and after they've tried really hard with something, it's kind of like a brain break for them. And it's also gives them a moment to shine in the class. These are for the kindergarten games. And next I'll be revising, I'll be doing the 4 different games for 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. I have all those games available for kindergarten, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th. And like I said, the reason why is because I go a grade level on and a grade level below. And so what I've done is, if you want to add those games to your math centers, I'm going to just drop the link right here in the comments. I hope that I have helped you in some way, maybe convinced you to try math games for your math centers. Next week, I want to talk to you guys about the other center that we do, the other small group, and that one is going to be writing about math. I hope you're ready for that one, because it's actually really awesome. I can't wait to share it. So anyways, I hope you have a wonderful evening, and I will see you soon. Bye.